Good morning. It's Friday morning, April 3rd. Welcome to April 2026. And it's time for your morning walk with me, Sophronia. So I was in Dayton last week at the Irma Bombeck Writers Workshop. And when I was introduced, the phrase in my bio says, leading contemplative thinker. One of my editors put that in a bio for me and it kind of stuck. And I told the audience, I said, whenever I hear that, I think about that part in The Wizard of Oz where the wizard says to the scarecrow, "They think deep thoughts with no more brains than you have." I sort of think about that maybe that's what that means. I think deep thoughts with no more brains than you have. But I do have, there's a podcast, I will share it with you, that I did with Brandon Nappy a few weeks ago at the Yale Divinity School, where we do talk about the contemplative life. And I'll share that with you. But what I really think that means is simply that I pay attention. I'm curious about the way I move through the world. I try to pay attention to what attracts me, what saddens me, what lifts me up. And I try to take those cues and follow them down and see where they lead. And here's what I mean. Many years ago, when a friend invited me to her yoga class, I'd never done yoga before in my life. And we did that first class, and she came up to me afterwards and said, "How is it for you?" And I remember just kind of staring at her for a moment, and then I burst into tears. I had no understanding of why I was crying, but I knew this, and I said to her, "I don't know what's going on here, but I think I need to keep doing this." And that's what those tears meant for me. I don't know when crying became such a bad thing. It's an important cue. If we're to pay attention to what moves us, to where we want to be in the world, I think we need to pay attention to when we cry. I know it's a joke at how people cry when they watch that movie, An Affair to Remember. But Deborah Carr's character, there's a point when she's crying and Cary Grant asks her, "You're crying," and she said, "That's what beauty does to me. That's what beauty does to me." And she knew she needed to do a lot of thinking because there was beauty in her life and she needed to figure out how she was going to keep it there. Crying is not a bad thing. I was thinking about that again this week because I was in Milwaukee. There was a screening of the documentary Midsummer in Newtown. And there's a scene in that film where the show that my son Tane has done, it's over and it's a few days later. And he misses the show. He misses being a part of it. And he starts crying. And you see in the documentary, I tell him, that's okay. It's okay. It means you had a good experience. It means you cared about these people you were working with and they cared about you. And I cannot tell you, that film came out 10 years ago. I've had more than one person, usually women, it's interesting, come to me and say that their husband was so moved by that scene because they weren't allowed to cry like that when they were boys. They were absolutely fascinated by it. When did it become okay to bottle ourselves up like that? That tears had to be a bad thing, that we had to stop. When it could be one of the things that allows us to contemplate our lives. I say hold on to your tears, celebrate them, pay attention to them. Pay attention to anything that makes you feel alive in the world, right? That you're responding to something that tells you you need to do more or less of this thing. Because isn't that really the way we want to do? The way we want to be is to just be here more in this present moment. I say we celebrate that this coming Easter, which is all about coming back to life, is it not? Spring, resurrection, this is the time. I invite you into it, fully embodied and fully you. I'm going to keep walking. Next week I will see you from England. I'll be there for the Thomas Merton Society of Great Britain and Ireland for their conference. And you know I love England, so I'll be excited to share that experience with you. Take care, and I will see you again soon. Bye.